Cyndilu coming at you live from New Zealand, bringing you another Be Bold You interview from my wonderful podcast series. If you're listening on the podcast or the replay here on Facebook, thank you so much for listening in.
Coming at you live from New Zealand, bringing you another Be Bold You interview from my wonderful podcast.
And let me close the windows in the background that are talking to me.
That was going a little nutso.
Now, if you're listening to it, you might not hear the thing that we're laughing about because I may have edited it out. But however, I may leave it in there. It will certainly be on the Facebook Live portion of it. So as you can tell, this was recorded live on Facebook. If you want to interact with it and you're listening to the podcast, head on over and find that podcast or that a broadcast where we're laughing our heads off. Alrighty. I am so excited today to bring you Christy Garcia of Sparkle Your Biz and Sparkle Your Star. She is amazing at helping people to be unique and to shine and be their bold themselves. So remember, in case you're first meeting me, I'm Cyndilu, the founder of Be Bold You, where we help people to take life's twists and turns and make them into something beautiful so that they can live their life out loud and be bold you. Sometimes I found myself living life out loud, but only behind the doors at my house. I was a little bit afraid to kind of share and show the real person that I am. I am now stepping into the fullness of who I'm created to be, which is somebody who's out there really living life out loud. So I'm really excited that you're here today, and I would love for Christy to do a short introduction as to who she is and what she does.
Thanks a lot, and thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I love Be Bold You. That's amazing. And I'm Christy Garcia. I am the founder of Sparkle Your Biz and creator of Sparkle Your Star. And so I just wanted to come on and do a quick introduction like you asked, and I am the dance mom. I'm a 16-year expert dance mom. And so what I've done is created a program with Sparkle Your Star that allows you to sparkle your star. It's all about, what's beyond the dance studio. And so being part of that 16 years of experience, I am also just released a book, and it's called The Dance Competition Guide. And I am the dance mom that made a lot of mistakes. I had a lot of twists and turns, let me tell you, as you said. And I have took all of those twists and turns and a lot of lessons, and I have put them into a guide for the new mom or the mom who goes to dance competition and might be a hot mess because I was that mom. So I just want to share what I've learned throughout the years to help alleviate some of those stresses that come along with dance competition. And so I've put this guide together.
Oh, I think that so many moms fall into that wanting their child to be like everything and to have everything. And we get to the point where we almost lay down everything of ours so that they can have everything of theirs. And sometimes we have to remember to take care of ourselves. So yes. That is one thing that I learned along the way with 5 children. I only didn't do dance mom stuff, but other things.
And it's so relatable, right? Like whether it be dance or it's, something else, it could be a school event. If you're not prepared, you go in, for me, I'm frazzled. If I'm not prepared, I go in and I've already got a stress level that I shouldn't have. And then, it's a domino effect and it affects the children or whoever is around you. So being prepared is just so important, both as a dance mom and just as a mom.
So true. So you have just written a book. I'm just going to jump right to the book because I think it's really amazing that you're helping moms to partly take care of themselves, but also to do it in a way that it doesn't take over their lives and they don't become that crazy dance mom. But yet they can give the child exactly what they need.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I was a busy dance mom. I worked full time at the time that, both of my kids were really young, I was in a corporate world. So I was working, you know, sometimes 12-hour days trying to get them to the practice at like 4 o'clock because, you know, that's just a common thing that you should work, you know, past that. So there was a lot of dentist appointments and things like that. And I got to a point where, you know what, if I was more prepared and, you know, had things set up and was allowing people to help me, that it would be a success story all around. Because regardless, you know, your community, no matter what success you're trying to bring, really is a key part of that. So really, you know, learning the things from the moms who had been around, learning the mistakes of like, you know, not sewing in my kid's headpiece into her head caused it to fall out and be on stage. And then I was the dance mom again, right? You know, so all of those things that I had to either learn by experience or I learned from others was, you know, definitely something I want to share with others.
I can't imagine being that mom and watching that headpiece fall off. I'm
I
just
wanted
like,
to hide under the chair. And this will, you know, I obviously, sometimes it takes me more than once to learn a lesson. So that was my daughter. And, you know, you skip ahead about 4 or 5 years and there's my son on stage with his toque not sewn in. And what does it do? It falls off. And I think that I almost had a heart attack in the stands. And I think I had all the glares, all the things of like, you're that dance mom. So yeah, I definitely have lots of learnings.
it baffles me, the whole sewn in thing. You literally sew their headpieces into their hair? Like, how do you
with a needle and a thread? I use fishing wire because that stays in, because I have also had the hat come off, which was worse. Actually, I'd rather have the hat fall on the stage, but I also had a scenario where we sewed it in, but it didn't hold it. And so it tilted so that she was doing the whole dance bit, and it was a cone, of course. So it looked like everyone else had this cute little party hat, and my daughter, it looked like more like a unicorn. It was horrendous, but learned from it. So fishing wire, and you literally take a needle and thread and you go through and do it. Yeah.
So the boys have to have a little bit of length to their hair just so that they can sew that in if they're boy dancers?
Yeah, you know, even if it's like, I've done it to little boys that have this length of hair, and you just really need to get in there and like almost kind of knot it so it will be like, it's really, you're sewing in the fishing wire rather than the hair.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's quite a process. And boys and girls, well, I will say, very different. I have one of each. You know, my girl has moved on to a professional dancing world. My son still competes. He's still, you know, working in a professional realm. He just got a job at an amusement park as an actor. So I have kind of been through all the different ranks, and they are very different. So what may work for my daughter definitely doesn't work for my son. And that's in like preparation, even the way he prepares mentally for something compared to her. So it's interesting to watch both sides of that.
Yeah, and not only just boys and girls, but just from girl to girl even, I can imagine that just your personality, yes, how you look at the world, how you interact with the world, the way that your communication all happens. Those are all things that I am coaching with the Be Bold You system. You know, it is more than just your personality. It's more than just what you're doing in life. It's all of that, and your attitude. Yes. And how your intentions are, everything. It's amazing. I remember my middle child was not a talkative being, as in like the guidance counselor came to our house one day. She's not on Facebook, so it'll be fine. She came to our house one day and she said, oh, she does talk, because my daughter's out in the backyard playing with the kids, jumping on the trampoline, just screaming her head off. And this guidance counselor really didn't think that the child could speak. Oh, wow. That's how quiet she was. I found myself going to teachers every year to say, this is not the child you had last year. This is a unique child, and you need to treat her as her. Yeah. And not expect that she's going to be what the other child was. Right. Yeah. And so true. They're all unique. Everybody is unique. You know, you and I, we're very unique. And so even if you have the same goal and end goal as somebody else, your journey, your path is going to be 100% different
to get there, to tailor to what you need to get there compared to what somebody else may need to get there.
Oh, that is so true. Wow. I mean, I'm even thinking like your exercise journey could be completely different than somebody else's. I had a child that could do sit-ups if you held her ankles at 7 years old, and she could do sit-ups, just didn't bother her. She just do them over and over again. And then another child who couldn't sit up, in bed. I mean, she just
right.
So their exercise would be completely different. One, taking a walk was a big thing, and it was amazing. The other one, she wanted to be on her rollerblade, going down hills and doing crazy stuff.
That's right. Such different ways to get the same result at the end, sort of thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amazing. What would be your biggest piece of advice to the mom that is freaking out, that's feeling like, I can't do this, it's too much to do? Like you said something about community, and I'm wondering, is that where you get other dance moms who have already kind of gone the road already and form an alliance or a collaboration of sorts? And like, how do you
it definitely, it does come sort of to that, where it's, the more people that you have to be able to help you, you're going to be more successful as the mom or as the dancer. So you really need a group of people around you that, think the same way as you as far as what, you want for your child. So, connecting with those other moms that have this, it's not even the same goals, but the same outlook on how to get there. So, they can help dress your child if there's a need, because it gets crazy back there. There's costume pieces going everywhere, and moods get a little flared. So you want to stay away from all drama. That is the one thing I'm going to say. And you find your people, because there's so many amazing friendships and relationships made from our journey in dance. We've traveled worldwide with my best friend dance mom. Like, it has been such a great journey. So if you have the right people to help you along, or, hey, you know what, I'm stuck at work, can you please pick up, the child to, and take her to dance or take him to dance. Those big helps are such a great thing. And then you also all learn different lessons. So you get to share what you've learned, and really grasping onto those older dance moms, because you know what, they're the calmest. They've already been through it all. You know what, they're there to watch their child's dances and to support everybody. So they're really great at sharing everything they've learned too.
Yeah, I think you really want to find the ones who are willing to share. If they're not willing to share and they're just going to cause drama, back away from the drama.
That's right. Just not the right fit, right? Like, it's, I want those people that are there to help and really get you to the same place and you help them, right? So
that's what we need in life, isn't it?
Yes,
really.
Absolutely. In every walk of life. I mean, as I'm a business coach, so and that's, how our connection is through the business world. We're biz besties. And so same thing, you need a community, you need the biz besties, or, you need those people that are going to support you and help you along to get to the same goal. So no matter what walk in life, whether, it's a dance competition, or it's, putting on an event, or it's launching a book, or whatever it is, when you have community around you, everything is, not just easier, but it just makes better sense, and you have different, points of view as well.
It also happens quicker, because other people see in you your potential before you sometimes see it in yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think others evaluate where you're at a whole lot easier than you evaluate yourself. We get into comparison. So I'm not this or I'm not that, instead of you could do this or you could do that. I mean, evaluation, I'm just studying this out right now, the difference between comparison and evaluation. When we compare, it literally kills it. It stops it dead in the water, because we find ourselves not good enough, or we're like, or it puffs us up and we feel like we're all that. So either of those do not actually move you forward, where evaluation is, where am I at? Where do I want to go? And how do I get there? That's evaluation. Where comparisons just.
Right. Oh, I love that. I love the definition of both of those.
Yeah, that's going in the book that I'm writing right now.
That's awesome.
There's been such clarity that's come to me through being a part of the Biz Besties community. It's been amazing.
Yes, community really does bring clarity. It brings so many things. It brings clarity. It brings a sense of belonging. And like you chatted, it brings, a quickness to things. So, whether you're writing a book like you are right now, or you're launching the book like I am right now, or you are a dance parent that is going to dance competition, having community, picking up some of those pieces that maybe you weren't the expert of knowing how to do and giving you those pieces hurries along the things that maybe you don't even need to spend the time on. Does that make sense? So, getting all those different pieces is just such magic.
Well, I'm going back to the head pieces. There's going to be some moms that you can tell them all day long that they need to sew that thing in, and they're going to try and they're going to attempt to do it, but that is not their superpower. So to find that mom that's their superpower and grab a hold of her.
Right? That's right.
In a nice way, but so that, she could line the kids up and just sew, and then you don't have the head things falling off. To really build that community within the dance world, I would imagine sometimes that was a little hard, because I know working with performers in general, I was a coordinator for directors of choral groups, and getting them to even communicate with one another about rehearsal space. And it's like, no, that's my space. Now I've got a concert. Da, da, da. I was like, whoa, hello. So getting them to calm down and let's work everybody together so that we can get everybody's performances up and better. And everyone has a space to be in. How can we juggle this? How can we move it?
Right.
If I couldn't get them working together, it would have been a fiasco.
Yeah, absolutely. Working together is so important. And, I think that to be quite honest, the kids have, for the most part, that down. They've had the guidance of their coach, and as a team, they're working together. And, they're used to being like, hey, come here so we can sew this. And, for the most part, the moms are really together too. They're like, okay, go see Christy. She's going to pin you now. And go see, Lucy. She's going to put a red lipstick on you. So, for the most part, there is that. And, the parents that come in and don't want to be part of that community, they end up just getting left out, or they realize after one or two goes that community makes everything, right? So, there's those connections there too. Yeah, for sure.
And I think I'm wondering, when people are coming into a new community, so every year there's going to be new dancers coming into these competitions, what's the best way for that mom and dance person when they hit their first competition to find an ally? Do they bring them with them, or can you find one there?
Well, usually if you're with the studio, you have went through all the practicing, and you've went through, some of the team stuff. So you've most likely already gravitated towards a couple friends. When you're at competition, this is a good opportunity to make new friends, both for the parents and the dancers, with other studios, because collaborating with others from outside of your little family or your little studio is such a great thing. So I always encourage, and this was something that, I encourage both my children to do at competition, is go find somebody that is at the competition that is not somebody not somebody at your studio, and make friends with them. And, that has done so much, particularly for Milena, who is, out doing her professional thing. It has came full circle. She has actually full circled. Her very first movie that she was on was called Flirting with 40. And that was a long time ago. And she met, she was 7, I think. And she met another little girl who was the main actress, little girl actress on there. And they actually went for coffee. I would say not even 6 months ago, when Milena was filming something in the city she was in. So it really does all come full circle. And at 7, really, we didn't know if this was a thing or that was going to continue, or a thing for the moment. So it's really interesting how going out and making those friendships and those connections, even at such a young age, can bring it full circle around again.
You have a daughter who's professionally dancing now. Is your son professionally dancing, or is he still in the
Yeah, so he is, he is 16, and so he is graduating next year from high school. And so this year he is working professionally as an entertainer. So he has got just received a job offer for amusement park as an entertainer for the summer. So super fun. Both of the kids are like killing it. They're both working, doing things. Yeah, it's great. And like I said, both of them have taken both separate paths and done such different things. AJ has performed live with the Mini Pops. Milena has, headlined with We Day and been on Disney movies. So we've got kind of everywhere, and competition was just sort of like the hub that took us in all these different directions.
Wow. I'm blown away. Okay, so for the mom who doesn't have the star, so it sounds like your kids have really become the star, but she wants that for them. Is there a time when she needs to let go of that and let the child want it for themselves?
As soon as you figure that out, you need to let the kid decide, because really this isn't about you. This is right. This isn't about the parent and what they want. And you hit the nail on the head, because this happens so often. I see it time and time again where the parent wants it, but the child, they might enjoy doing it, but it's not like the be all end all for them. And really, it is a hard industry, regardless what the path is, whether it's, becoming an assistant or whether it's going on a TV set or being, on a live production. They're all very time consuming. It's a hard industry to get into. So if your heart's not in it, then it's really not for you. So it's not for the parent, because I'm going to tell you, once they turn 16, as much as we're there for guidance and help, they're doing the things on their own. That's your job is sort of just to make sure everything's going smooth at that point. So, the dreams if it is the parent's dream, the dream sort of gets stale when they're sitting in the lawn chair on set in the hallway, right? Because it's not that glamorous.
One of the things that I deal with is helping people in their second or third season of life, like, figure out who they are and where they're going to go. And I'm thinking there may be some dance moms that has happened to them, where they're feeling like, oh my goodness, all my dreams were wrapped up in this child, and now they've gone off and they're working and they're doing, whether the child became the star or didn't become the star, like they're either not dancing anymore, or they're off working and they're doing their own thing, they're living their own life, and you're no longer needed. And you're feeling like, who am I now? What do I want to be? Where do I want to go? So it's perfect.
Absolutely. And, it is, I've sort of almost already hit that phase of like, what's the next thing? And it wasn't that it was my dream that they were stars. To be quite honest, that was probably one of the last dreams I had for both children. And now I watch them blossom, and I just think it's absolutely phenomenal and exciting. And I'm super, super happy for them. But, when they're 7 and 8, you don't say, oh, my child's going to, be a professional dancer. That wasn't in my head. So, it's kind of funny how but it did take over my life. Literally, for the last 16 years, it has been about being the dance mom and learning and being there and traveling everywhere. And, there's lots of things that come with that. And then all of a sudden, one of my dancers or stars moved away, and I was like, oh, I now have a lot more time. I'm not fully an empty nester, but definitely it has started going into that category. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And there definitely is a lot of dance moms that have literally spent almost every minute of free time, molding their children, even if it's just till the end of grade 12, and then their children go out to college, whatever their path is, they've still spent all their time and not really a whole lot about them. And now they're in this state.
And I've had people say that they would want to be coached by somebody who hasn't ever lost their identity. I finally realized it's not about losing your identity. It's about choosing your identity. Because you, as that dance mom, chose that identity. You wanted to be there for your children. You chose for that to be that season of life.
Yep.
And now you're making the transition into a new season of life, which is writing this book and helping other moms to work their way through the season of life you just came through.
That's right. It is literally a season of life, and it isn't about, it's about, that is who I chose to be. And I owned it. I wouldn't give it, if I had to go back 16 years and do it again, absolutely. It was amazing. And now I'm coming to not the end of this phase, but I'm definitely tailoring out of this into something new. So even as it crosses over and I'm still the dance mom to my daughter, it's a totally different thing. I'm going to fly in to watch her show, and that's about the end of it. There's not going to be sewing in anything. There's not, so it's totally like learning to like adjust into that new dance, but I'm still picking to be that. So it's literally, I didn't lose myself. I chose that was what it was for that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That is the big difference in the people that I want to work with is, they chose that. I was with a coaching group and they were like, oh, I don't want to work with somebody, I'm a mom now with kids and I don't want to work with somebody who's lost their identity. And that was when it dawned on me. It's not a matter of losing my identity. I didn't lose my identity when I chose to focus on my children for 30 years.
Right.
That was my identity that I chose.
That's right.
But you still come to the end of that season in that choice and you realize you have to make a new choice.
That's right.
And because it had been 30 years, I had to figure out how to make a choice. I didn't have to know any choices about life during that 30 years because it was pretty solid in front of me. I had 5 kids and you did the thing every day and you took the kids to the rehearsals or to practices or, whatever it was they were involved in and
right.
You did it. Without thinking about what am I going to do tomorrow? What do I want to be in life? Who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? Now, all of a sudden, you're 40 something, 50 something, 60 something, whether it's been empty nester or divorce or whatever that's caused you to be in a new season, loss of a job. You're in a new season going, who the heck am I? What do I like? What do I love? What do I want to be? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? I can do anything. I have all the time in the world. I can do anything now.
Right.
It's a great place to be.
Absolutely. It's like all new things and it's exciting again.
Yeah. So
it's a new relationship with yourself really is what you get to build, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And learning how to become self-aware. Mm-hmm. That must be something you have to help your children with as they were dancing to become self-aware of what their needs were. Injuries and things like that to be able to tell you I need a rest or to be able to know when they needed to take a rest. I'm sure that was one thing that was probably difficult for them to kind of sort out. And you as the mom probably had to walk them through that. I don't know if that's in your book, but might be something for another book.
And you're so right. You need to
how to get through injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Self-awareness in all of us is, something that needs to be developed because it's not we try to push ourselves so hard, but definitely something that you need to be aware of with your any athlete really, to make sure, especially from the physical standpoint or exhaustion even, both of my kids have had 40-hour dance weeks, and those weeks along with school is a very, very exhausting week. And so making sure that they're fed properly, that they're drinking all the water, that they're sleeping, because you know what? They're teenagers. And so right now they're, checking their phone when they get back at midnight and then they're wanting to sit, right? So it's those kind of things. This is such a different way than when at 7, it's like, hey, well, you got to let me know if you've hurt yourself, right? We're past that point, but that's, it's all different levels of self-awareness. So true. We have actually gone a half an hour. What the heck?
Wow. That went by so fast. Is there anything that you'd like to share with your audience or mine, because we're sharing this with both audiences, as a last tip? Yeah, absolutely. Dance moms out there, dance dads, dance grandparents, if this is your first competition, or maybe you've been going at it for a while and you feel like a hot mess and you just don't know how you can get yourself better prepared, check out the Dance Competition Guide, sparkleYourStar.com or Sparkle Your Star on all social media platforms. Find me, ask me questions. You've got this. You can do this. You're going to have a great time and have less stress because it's more enjoyable. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. This has, again, been an amazing conversation with you. I so enjoy having conversations with you and my other biz besties and anyone else actually who would like to have a conversation. I enjoy doing these interviews. I'm really excited to be bringing another person next week, and I'm trying to remember what her name is. I don't remember. Oh, well, you all have to just stay tuned and see if you can find it when it gets there. See, we just use our calendar, and once it's on the calendar, okay, it's happening, and then I don't look at it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day. If you are listening to the replay, #replay. If you have any questions for Christy or myself, put them in the comments, replay or not, because we will come back and answer them for you. This is Cyndilu from Be Bold You, signing off and saying, have an amazing, wonderful, terrific, fabulous day.